And then, obviously I had to sleep and be safe and all that,
point.
but I never get sick of it. The vibe, the feeling. I mean, everybody here obviously has been to a show and it's just like everybody loves you, but it's so hard to not only reach that level of professionalism and success and quality, but then to sustain it. And not only sustain it, take it to another level every time. Like, how do you guys do it? What's the process?
You find new ways to reinvent yourself. These days, it's not only an auditory show; it's a visual show, right? So that comes down to a lot of lighting and stuff like that. I've seen some. Wasn't Stick Figure using some pyro last year or something?
Oh, Iration like was too. They busted out those.
Yeah,
little
burners, whatever those
are.
are. But I mean, you find ways to make it interesting for your fans. I remember being like, we had the whole laser debate internally as a band for a while, and just like, because it's a lot of money to rent lights, and then you got the semi. What you see in those semis that are on tour are usually lighting rigs.
Yep.
It's not the band's equipment. The band's equipment is in the little trailers being towed behind the tour bus. So then you have to rent a whole truck, and then you gotta pay for smoke that gets blown out of these things, and then you gotta hire a driver, 2 drivers, whatever, to take turns driving these things, and like it's a whole it's an investment is what it is. So you have to decide whether you want to take that next step of investment. Right. In upping your light show and what your stage design and what it looks like, and because it costs a lot of money up front.
And this is the message that I want to help bring to this audience, because most people think like, oh, it's all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and of course there's that. But my brother's a real estate guy, my friend here's a financial guy, and that makes sense, because what you're saying is obviously this brand is not only your music and your art, it's your business. And by reinvesting in this, that's continuing to build and continuing to pay dividends like an account would or like a house would, right? Whereas most people think like, they just don't have the right mentality, and they put it all on maybe one person. And what happens if that person passes away, or what happens if that person can't sing anymore, or what happens if, like, I don't know if you remember the Kings of Leon guy, like lost his voice for like a year or two.
Like Adele, I think happened too.
Adele, so how do you maintain that creativity and business, but also physically? And obviously it's difficult for a lot of people to take this break because of COVID. It was unpredictable, and a lot of people are frustrated and upset about it, understandably. At the same time, in a weird way, it's probably kind of a nice break, because you guys have not taken a winter or summer off in like 14 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise. You're taking it. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Like, I treat it just like being in traffic. Like, you can't